Today's video dedication is brought to you with thanks from Dan Kirch. Firja Judge of Valor versus Sig River Guide, Inala Archmage Ritualist, and Tergrid God of Fright. And that hand, well, it's Cabal Coffers and Urborg. We need white mana. Yeah, we need white mana. But we've got ramp. I'm going to risk that one. Against my better judgment, there's a chance that we could get into at least a couple of angels and then fill our hand up with the Pact of the Serpent. And we get into a Swiftfoot Boots. So let's just start things off with the Urborg. The first spell of the turn is Merfolk Secret Keeper. So not wanting to mill anyone apparently, just getting down a Merfolk wall. Okay, well there's our first angel. Can't actually really play anything here, or we can go for the Swiftfoot Boots, can't we? And Tergrid has held up mana and priority, so I'm guessing there's going to be a Vampiric Tutor here. Nope, just passing through to their turn. They get down an Urborg of their own. And a Lightning Greaves. And then for Inala, it's Pillar of Origins. Choose a creature type when it enters. Add a mana of any colour and spend the mana only to cast creature spells of the chosen type. And then it is another spell from the Merfolk player, an Opt. They've just cracked an Evolving Wilds for a Plains, so may well see their commander next turn. Okay, fingers crossed for a land here. And a white one, preferably. But not making it, apparently. Well, we just go for the Cabal Coffers and make everyone worry about us. Tergrid just passing the turn with 3 black mana held up, so there might be some removal over there. And then the Inala player getting a tap land in and setting up a bit more with Sword of the Animist. Yep, there it is, Sig River Cutthroat. There's only going to be one island player, and it will be the Inala, if that's relevant at some point, making this unblockable. Now we'll try again to get ourselves into a white land. And there we go. Isolated Chapel will allow us to dump a Thran Dynamo into play. Or do we just want Authority of the Consuls? Actually, what am I thinking? We can do both, can't we? Yeah. If we make the black mana with the Cabal Coffers, that is 4, so we go Thran Dynamo, and then we can go Authority of the Consuls as well. Almost goofed up there. Still want another white land, we want as much white mana as possible. We could draw into a Chromatic Lantern as well. I always tend to put that in my decks, and glad that I do in situations like this, because that would absolutely fix our mana here. Cabal Coffers coming down from the Tergrid as well, so we probably see Tergrid here. That deck doesn't really run without the commander. Oh no, going in for the Eradicator Valkyrie. We've got that in this deck. Dualcaster Mage coming down, and not sure if they're actually going to play an instant here. Either way, we're going to gain ourselves some life here. Glad we got down the Authority of the Consuls. Guessing that they are just playing that so that they can equip it with the sword next turn, or equip it here. And then they can start ramping. Steambed Aquitects. Tap, and a target Merfolk gets +1 and Island Walk until the end of the turn. It's a 2/3. And it can tap and make a target land an island, so much for the wizard player being the only island player. Alright, another island would be good here. Sig goes in at the Inala player. Noteworthy that the Lightning Greaves didn't go onto the Angel over here. Another white mana, please. That's a swamp. Well, we'll just play the swamp out. Let's get down our commander. Luckily, that only needs 1 white mana. Throw our commander into play, and we'll put the Swiftfoot Boots on there. And there's no removal, comes from the Merfolk player. That is a 2/4 with lifelink and flying, so we'll just leave that back. Not going too well for us so far, but it could be a lot worse than this. And this time, Tergrid coming down for the Tergrid player. These look like forests and they're messing me up. But yeah, the Lightning Greaves should go on there, you would think. Mindrake, each player discards 2 cards. We do have some Reanimator stuff in here, so that's not necessarily the end of the world for us. We're going to discard some permanents here, unfortunately. I do want to keep hold of the Angel. If we can get a white mana next turn, then we can go for playing the Angel and then playing this. We'll get some card advantage from the Firja, and then we'll obviously get card advantage from the Pact of the Serpent as well. Let's get rid of Bishop, and we'll get rid of... we're going to give them an Angel. But we'll have to do it. They discard Revel in Riches and Grey Merchant of Asphodel. There was a Ghoul Caller Geyser here. That is owned by the same player, Path of Ancestry. And then there is Seafloor Stalker and the Wishful Merfolk from the Merfolk player. We are going to gain a bunch of life from the creatures entering. Stacking it all in the right order as well, so they get the Angel, and then the Bishop of Wings will trigger and gain them some life. When that Angel token dies, they'll get a Spirit. And during their next turn, they're going to be able to destroy a creature with power less than 4 with the Saga if they want to. And the Wizard player decides to scoop because Magic Online. Still not equipping the Lightning Greaves for some reason. Don't think there's anything I'm missing with that. But hopefully the Tergrid can go down here. We've got plenty of spot removal in the deck. Honden of Cleansing Fire. Gain 2 life for each shrine you control. That seems like a strange one. Maybe there's some kind of life gain sub-theme here. And then a Tideshaper Mystic. Only 1 card left in hand there. And that is a basic land type of your choice until the end of the turn. So we could ask them to turn one of our lands into a plains. Turning the Cabal Coffers into an island, which will remove all of the abilities from that. Maybe could have done that during their turn, but just using it to get Sig through here. So yeah, again, see if we can fix our colours. We cannot. Read the Bones is not awful though. So let's go for Scry 2, lose 2 and draw 2. Alright, and that is a tapped white source. I am going to Lyra Dawnbringer. Don't like bottoming that. But I want an untapped white source, so we'll put both of those on the bottom. Haven't gotten into any fetches or anything, and there is a Silent Clearing. Will cost us life to produce white mana with that, but so be it. We get a Youthful Valkyrie as well. So let's tap down Cabal Coffers for 6 mana, and it would be nice to get down the 2 Angels, obviously. Let's forego the plus counter on the Youthful Valkyrie here, and we get some card advantage from the Firja here because that is the second spell that we've gone for. Now I don't think it counts as discard on this. Does this just care about discard? Yeah, it's discard specifically. And this doesn't say discard, so I think we can dodge that. Gilded Lotus. Can we play Gilded Lotus? We can play Gilded Lotus and this if we want to, so we put the Gilded Lotus into our hand. The other 2 go on the bottom, or into the graveyard, and that didn't trigger the Tergrid, so that's good. Yeah, we have to fix our colours here, so let's go Gilded Lotus. Do we just want to draw more cards? Yeah, maybe we hold off on Youthful Valkyrie and Pact of the Serpent until next turn, just so we can see one more card. We're going to have to leave the Swiftfoot Boots on the Angelic Field Marshal here. But we can always replay our commander next turn. So let's swing in at the Tergrid player. They've got a 4-3 to block with. But we've got a 5-5, so not really worried about that. The Angelic Field Marshal, because we control our commander, it gets +2/+2 and gives all of our creatures vigilance, by the way. And now it's round to their turn, so they can have their 2 Angels destroy something if they want to. And now put in the Lightning Greaves on their commander. Luckily for them, they didn't see any spot removal. Then going through to combat, and just sending in the Eradicator Valkyrie towards the blue and white player, and then each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker because they paid the boast ability on that. So we'll get rid of our commander, which I had a feeling we'd have to do anyway. That can go in the command zone so that the Tergrid doesn't get possession of that. The Merfolk player got rid of Seafloor Stalker, which is 5 mana, +1 to its power, and can't be blocked this turn. Oh good, and we get another Scooper. Apologies, but it's Magic Online. Don't know what to do if there's no patrons to play with. The problem is I live in the wrong country, so if I were to live in the US or Brazil or somewhere like that, Canada, then I'd be in the right time zone. The only alternative is that I do all this at like 3 o'clock in the morning, which I'm obviously not going to do. Not while I'm not doing it for a living anyway. If I was doing it for a living and I had enough support to do that, then I probably would actually do that. But as of right now, we've just got a bunch of angels that were facing down thanks to Tergrid stealing all the stuff. Alright, and there's a scrub land, so that's not awful. We've got more white mana at this point. Let's cast the Firja again. Do we want plus counter on Youthful Valkyrie? I suppose we could. Although, if we go for the commander now and then the Youthful Valkyrie, we'll get the trigger, so yeah, that'll be better because it's card advantage for us. Only 2 cards left in Firja's hand. Let's go for the Youthful Valkyrie, and that will trigger the Firja. Alright, Unburial Rites can definitely go in the bin. Or do we want to hardcast that? See, we're getting into lands now. I think we'll put the Unburial Rites in our hand, actually. Then we get 2 activations out of that. The lands can go away. And then let's cast the Pact of the Serpent. And we're going to lose 3 life and draw 3 cards here, because we control 3 angels, unless the black player has something to say about it. So we obviously name Angel. Alright, Toxic Deluge. There is an Entomb, which we could do something with thanks to the Unburial Rites. Can we do it this turn though? 3, 4 and 5 we can't. If I'd put it in the bin, we could have gone for Avacyn. So, in that case, maybe we're just going for the Lightning Greaves this turn. Yeah, we're not going to discard any permanents to the Tergrid anyway, so let's go for Lightning Greaves. And we'll protect our commander with that. And then we could draw a card with Silent Clearing, but I think I just want to hold up as much mana as possible. We can swing into that Angel if we want to. This is, 4 toughness, so we're not going to go for that. This definitely doesn't have flying. That doesn't have flying. So yeah, we'll just hit them for 5 with the Angelic Field Marshal. And then we're holding up Entomb, and we'll have a look at the angels that we can go for. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Avacyn. Angels you control gain double strike until the end of the turn, so we'll probably just take the hit there. There's a Reanimator life game sub-theme in the deck, so might be spreading ourselves a little bit thin across multiple variants, but I think we're going to be alright taking big hits like that, at least during this turn. Now, in defence of the other 2 players, the person who put this game up was... I don't know which player it was. Cornfield whatever. That would have been... Yeah, that was the Merfolk player. Now, the Merfolk player did say, as we can see in the lobby, testing Jank Brews, as we saw with their Merfolk deck. Now, it's fair enough, I suppose. We brought an Angel Tribal deck that isn't incredible, but should be able to not dominate a Merfolk player, for instance. I wouldn't exactly call Tergrid a jank commander, so this person was bringing that up in the chat. which is why I'm bringing it all up to you. So in all fairness to the people that scooped, that is probably why, because they were expecting a low-powered, jankier game, and then someone brings Tergrid, so it's just Magic Online for you, that's what happens. They are still at 2 cards and a bunch of mana. Alright, swinging in with 2 creatures, they make use of the Eradicator Valkyrie again. We'll just sacrifice the Youthful Valkyrie, I think. They're going to gain a spirit as well from the Bishop of Wings, which comes in tapped and triggers our Authority of the Consuls. So let's sacrifice the Youthful Valkyrie, and they will gain control of that because of their Tergrid, which triggers Authority of the Consuls again. They gain some more life because that is an angel. They're going to make lots of use out of our Bishop of Wings, so it's good to see that that actually should be in the deck, judging by what we're seeing so far. Let's take the hit. Alright, now let's have a look and see what we can do here. Maybe we get some kind of reanimation creature of some form. Or maybe we could go for the angel. Oh, I didn't include the angel that can come in and destroy something, strangely. Alright, when I was making the deck, Magic Online kept crashing, so I had to keep trying to remember the cards that I'd added previously, and I think I must have missed that one. Alright, so in that case we'll just go for the Avacyn Angel of Hope. And just keep getting into the lands now. We've only got 1 creature in the bin, haven't we? Yeah, it's Avacyn Angel of Hope, obviously. So let's go for the Unburial Rites onto that. And we'll put the Lightning Greaves on there. Do we want to just cast the Toxic Deluge here? We could go Toxic Deluge. We'll get rid of our commander. We'll get rid of the Angelic Field Marshal as well, actually. If we go Marsh Flats, we'll go Toxic Deluge for 4. Get rid of these 2. We could reanimate the Angelic Field Marshal, but we'll get some card advantage is the point I'm making. And we'll wipe their board. So we could go for 5 to get rid of the Tergrid, couldn't we? Well, let's try it. So let's generate a bunch of mana with the Cabal Coffers. And then dump 5 life into that. Firja will trigger. They are going to get some spirits into play here. Alright, Rampage of the Valkyries. That would actually... Whenever an angel you control dies, if we're forced to sacrifice an angel, that will trigger their commander, and then it'll put this on the stack, and then they'll be forced to sacrifice something, so yeah, that might be good. I like Archangel of Thune though. Yeah, let's go Archangel of Thune there. Alright, so keeping our Avacyn, they'll get some spirits into play tapped, which will trigger our enchantment. In the command zone, yes, we'll put our commander back in the command zone. We're generating a hell of a lot of mana. And like I said, Authority of the Consuls triggers. Alright, and now the opponent is saying good game, so I'm hoping that they're not going to scoop here, but they probably are. Let's try and actually continue to do something here. You would think the Tergrid player would be able to handle an Avacyn pretty well, because they're going to force us to sacrifice stuff. So let's play out the Archangel of Thune. And I think it would be a good idea to just go for our commander next turn, and then we can play the Unburial Rites and grab ourselves the Angelic Field Marshal if we want to. That way we can get some more card advantage there. So let's put these Swiftfoot Boots onto Archangel of Thune. I've wanted to play with Archangel of Thune for the longest time, but this is one of those cards that whenever it hits play it gets shot immediately. So I'm hoping that we actually get to see some use out of that, especially when we've got Authority of the Consuls in play. Our opponent keeps holding on to priority though, so they've either got something or they're pretty much waiting for an opportunity to scoop. I suppose we could go for the Field Marshal now so that we've got something to sacrifice, but... are we going to draw into a land next turn? Yeah, let's go for activating the Vault of the Archangel. That will give our creatures Death Touch and Lifelink. That way we'll gain life twice during this combat, because Avacyn doesn't usually have Lifelink. And that'll be 2 plus counters on each of our angels. So we gain 6 life in combat there. And trigger the Archangel of Thune a couple of times, once per creature. And let's see if our opponent can make us sack our creatures. Well, they've got a lot of mana. There's a Cabal Stronghold now as well. So they'll get 8 mana from Cabal Coffers alone, which is enough to get their Tergrid back into play. And there it is. We'll gain some life and get some plus counters on our creatures. Okay, discards every card in everyone's hand. Definitely not jank. Awaken the erstwhile. Luckily we didn't have any cards in hand. That actually benefits us for once. They discarded 1 card, so they get 1 zombie. And they discarded Malakir Rebirth, so that's probably why they were saying good game to us. Let's see if they forget the Lightning Greaves again here. Looks like they're going to. Alright, well, that just makes it easier for us to potentially remove it. There is a Soul Warden for more life gain. So we go for our commander first, so that we've got that card advantage again. And then we'll just play a Soul Warden. And Firja triggers. Karmic Guide, Emeria Shepherd is a pretty good one. We can return a non-land permanent from graveyard to hand. So we could get stuff like the Retribution back. Maybe Karmic Guide is the thing here. Yeah, because then we can get some sack fodder from, not that one, from the Bishop of Wings. Yeah, I'll go Karmic Guide here. And then we can always reanimate the Emeria Shepherd. So let's play Karmic Guide. That will gain us a life with the Soul Warden. So we'll put that on the stack first, and then we go for Emeria Shepherd out of the bin. That way it will get the plus counter from the point of life from the Soul Warden. And then Emeria Shepherd will trigger the Soul Warden as well. So actually, managing to make use of Archangel of Thune and the life gain sub-theme amazingly. So did we just save on Burial Rites for being forced to sacrifice all of our creatures, which is inevitably coming our way? Don't think we want to overextend here. Let's go for more life gain from the Firja. That does have lifelink on it already. They don't have any cards in hand, so I'm not worried about them exiling Avacyn, especially not with just 2 mana held up. And now we've got plenty of sack fodder against their commander as well. So we turn everything in sideways. They can chump with a couple of spirits. I think we're probably close to getting them next turn. And they just decide to take the damage. So we gain a chunk of life and put plus counters on all of our stuff again. So let's go Lightning Greaves back onto the Avacyn. Might go for cracking the Silent Clearing at the end of my opponent's turn. And we'll leave it at that, I think. They just top deck into a swamp and play that straight away, so yeah, I think we've got them here. And they decide to scoop, so let's see what we were drawing into. Oh, that's a shame. I would really have liked to play with that one. Righteous Valkyrie, we were getting into Lyra as well. Smothering Tithe, it was a bit late for that, but yeah, I was very much looking forward to playing with some of the new Valkyries, one of which, of course, is our commander. Just saw some of the classics here, though. I need to add the black and white one. Let's go over to the deck list and see what we can change around there. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Angel of Despair. Enters the battlefield, destroy a target permanent, so I wouldn't mind hard casting that anyway, but it's especially good if we want to throw something into the bin and then reanimate it. We've got plenty of removal in the deck already, but it makes perfect sense to tie some removal to an angel. So I'm not entirely sure what to remove there. I think I might just... It's a shame this, because as good a card as Heliod's Intervention is, I just always end up cutting it. It is really good. I didn't want to put Austere Command in. I was actually having some discussions with people in the Discord, or, well, 1 or 2 people in the Discord anyway, and I think it was Bootleg Greedo said that as good as some cards are, they wipe the board, they reset the board, gets you out of harm's way, but it also grinds the game to a halt. I think it was Vandal Blast specifically that we were talking about. Some decks just have to rely on rocks in order to ramp, and if you go Vandal Blast, you're dealing with a problem potentially, like equipments and stuff, but you're also stopping someone from playing because they have to rely on rocks, which isn't particularly fun. So I was trying to lean away from my typical Vandal Blast and Austere Command, things like that, and decided to put this in here, but I don't know, I just always end up cutting it, and if we're relying on lots of spot removal, which this colour pairing is very good at, and things like Angel of Despair, then do we really need mass artifact sweepers and enchantment sweepers? Maybe, maybe not. I like how the deck ran there, so I'm going to try and get rid of that. What I was thinking as well, with the life gain sub-theme, it might be worth running a Necropotence as well, which is a pretty risky one. I might just replace this with the Necropotence. But we did draw 3 cards for 3 mana in black, so, I mean, that's not horrendous, is it? Yeah, I think I'll leave it as is for now. I want to see how Pact of the Serpent manages. I didn't want to leave it in the elf deck, the Lathril elf deck, which is where it's from. Because if we just have like 20 elves in play, then we're not going to be able to draw cards off it. I would have this in the deck as a card draw spell. It's noteworthy that you can... Yeah, it says target player draws X and loses X. So you can use it as a modal card to take out an opponent if you've got lots of elves in play, for instance, but I wanted it in there as a card draw spell, and I didn't feel as though I'd be able to use it as one in the elf deck, not reliably anyway. But in this deck, we're not going to have too many angels in play. Like, I would expect to have 3 in tops, and then if we get 5+, then that'd be great. Maybe we could have a mass reanimation spell and then play that and refill our hand. If it doesn't perform well, then I'll replace that with Necropotence because it goes well with the life gain sub-theme. And then the other thing I noticed, which was an absolute embarrassment, is the fact that we didn't have the correct swamps in the deck. Absolutely unacceptable that we have these types of plains mixed with these types of swamps. That just won't do. So we lift those out and we'll add these swamps in. And there we go. Now we've got the plains with matching swamps. Your basics have to match. It's the law. Not a white bordered card in sight either. Alright, so I'm actually pretty happy with the performance of that deck. We managed to go up against a Tergrid deck, and it did take some of our permanents away from us. I think the Tergrid deck just ran out of juice, and maybe it was a more fair version of Tergrid, if there is such a thing. I hope it was, because it was going up against, quote, jank, unquote, decks. But yeah, pretty happy with that. If you want to see more from the Firja Angel Tribal deck, Angel Reanimator Life Gain deck, then let me know. Don't forget to leave it a thumbs up and subscribe. If you want to support the channel, you can go to Patreon as well through the link in the description below if you want to support monetarily. I'm tribalkai on the EDH channel. Thank you for watching.